Hi, I'm Rob from B&H, and in this video we're going to check out the StudioLive 1602 Performance and Recording Digital Mixer from PreSonus. The latest in the StudioLive series, the 1602 packs a lot of features into a compact, relatively inexpensive mixer. It's a terrific solution for live sound mixing while simultaneously recording the set to your computer. It also includes an extensive software package for Mac and PC, and it can be controlled remotely from your laptop, iPhone, or iPad. Let's take a look while I record the audio for our podcast to my laptop using the mixer's FireWire connection and the included Capture software. Checking out the basics, we've got 12 channels with 60mm faders, 8 mono and 4 stereo, which can also be used in mono mode for single inputs. This is a 16-input board, and as I've mentioned, we've got 12 X-Max mic pre's. These are 30-volt Class A mic pre's made with discrete components for outstanding sound quality. I've got optional phantom power for mics and a phase reverse option on all 12 channels. Each channel feeds to its corresponding FireWire bus, so channels 1 through 16 feed bus inputs 1 through 16 on your DAW. 4 aux master faders are here, and these aux sends are ideal for creating individual monitor mixes for my musicians or for sending to effects. There's a headphone jack in the front, main outputs and monitor outputs in the back. There's also a mono output, an input for a talkback mic, and MIDI in and out ports on the back. MIDI input means you can actually operate some of the functions on the 1602 with a MIDI foot pedal. Also on the back are my 2 FireWire ports. The StudioLive is built around what PreSonus calls the Fat Channel. Select the channel you want to work on, and Fat Channel gives you digital control over the EQ, dynamics, aux sends, routing, and more using the buttons and multi-purpose knobs here. This means we've got a high-pass filter, gate, compressor limiter, and 3-band EQ on every channel. 3 bands not enough? No problem. The StudioLive 1602 uses these buttons to get more mileage out of the encoder knobs. So for example, if I hit the graphic EQ button, now the encoders boost or cut across 31 bands of EQ. Pressing one of the 2 effects buttons turns the encoder knob into an effects send to one of the 2 internal 32-bit effects processors featuring 50 customizable different presets of reverbs and delays. There's also a tap button here I can use to time the effects to the song tempo. Having the effects available internally means more aux sends available for fold-back mixes for my musicians. Press one of the aux buttons and now the encoder knobs function as level controls to the auxes. Also on my channels and auxes is the multi button that does 3 different functions: mute, solo, or routing the channel input from the FireWire bus. There's also a post button that routes the input signal to the FireWire bus after my Fat Channel settings, so I can choose whether to commit my EQ and dynamic settings to my DAW recording or just use them for the monitor mix. Either way, the channel send to the FireWire bus is always pre-channel fader, so the fader has no effect on the level to my DAW and is only used for my monitor mix. You might have noticed that the StudioLive uses these ladder-style LEDs as both level meters and as displays for my settings. This is genius because it makes seeing what you're doing so much easier than depending on a little screen for info, especially in the heat of a gig. Another terrific feature a digital mixer offers is the ability to store and recall your settings. There are 99 storage slots for the individual Fat Channel settings, the first 50 of which feature handy presets, which are good starting points for both beginners and pros. In addition, there are 80 storage scenes for the entire console. Everything comes back at the touch of my recall button, although I can choose not to recall certain parts of a scene for added flexibility. There are no motorized faders on the 1602, but the meters light up to show me the correct fader settings, so recalls are a snap. If you're in a club or a house of worship, for example, you can save settings for different groups during rehearsals and then quickly recall them at performance time. I've mentioned the internal processing on the StudioLive 1602, but the FireWire bus adds an additional dimension to the mixer's capabilities. The 1602 ships with 3 important pieces of software to fully integrate the StudioLive to your computer and DAW. First is the Universal Control and Virtual Studio Live, or VSL, package. Universal Control and VSL allows you to make adjustments on the mixer from your laptop and allows you to store channel settings and scene settings on your computer. VSL also gives you a visual display of the mixer's settings if you prefer, and because it's a two-way communication, automatically updates setting changes you make on the mixer to the computer. Taking it a step further, with the SL Remote app for the StudioLive 1602, you can control the mixer remotely via Wi-Fi using an iPad. This is a super cool feature for a lot of sound guys. This means that if the mixer is on or beside the stage, you can walk out into the middle of the room and listen to the front of house mix and make real-time adjustments. No more running back and forth to the desk. The second piece of software included with the 1602 is Capture. As the name suggests, Capture is a simple and straightforward way of capturing and even editing the audio from the StudioLive console. Capture only works with the StudioLive series, and that means its integration to the mixer is practically seamless. For example, each of my 16 tracks is already looking to the corresponding FireWire bus input. Incidentally, if you're concerned about what happens to the live mix if your computer should crash, don't worry. The StudioLive 1602 is designed to operate independently of your computer. The computer can explode, and while the recording will obviously stop, the 1602 will remain unaffected and the live show goes on. Now, Capture is cool, but it's not designed to be a full-on DAW, say when it comes time to mix. For that, PreSonus have thoughtfully included their Studio One Artist DAW software. Here, Capture sessions can be easily opened and mixed in an intuitive drag-and-drop environment with unlimited tracks, sends, insert effects, effect channels, buses, and full-featured automation. Of course, if you prefer to work on another DAW platform, no problem. You can record in Capture, save as an OpenTL file, and then open in another DAW, like Logic, for example. Or I can simply record directly into the DAW of my choice in the first place. A couple of accessories to consider with the 1602. First up, the Furman GNI Incandescent Gooseneck Light. This bad boy will fit right into the BNC socket on the board and give you a little light while you work. Also, consider the Audio-Technica BPHS1 broadcast stereo headset. The BPHS1 has two connections. The mic has an XLR output, perfect for the talkback input on the mixer, and there's a 1/4-inch connection that fits into the front headphone jack for your monitoring pleasure. So the StudioLive 1602 has a lot to offer for a small 16-channel digital mixer. It's an excellent console packed with features. Its FireWire ports and extensive software package allow for seamless computer integration and even remote control from your iPhone or iPad. For more information on the StudioLive 1602 from PreSonus or any of our other mixers and audio interfaces, give us a call, visit us online, or stop by our New York City Superstore. Thanks for watching.